17. Hey, LeBron.
Wait a second. You're going back on my Twitter to May 4th, 2017?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, LeBron, it's over. Kawhi Leonard is now the best player in the NBA. Sorry. Real Skip Bayless. That's you, right? Blue check mark.
Two-way player. Yeah.
No. Anyone two. I don't see no two. It said the best player. But that's not here nor there. Hold on. He said maybe it would be beneficial to play more regular season games. Really, Kawhi? When you had it built in, you and Uncle Dennis about load managing at least 20 games a year. Now you want to play more games. You can't practice because your knees bulky. Whoa, I can't believe this. Can you imagine if LeBron James in a game 7 goes 1 for 11 in the fourth quarter, scores 2 points in the second half, 0 in the fourth quarter, and blames the loss on the team's IQ? Remember when LeBron James lost his last game? You come up with all them shenanigans. Oh, he was sedated. Oh, he was this and that. No, Kawhi. You're the best player. Too many people have said you're the best player in the NBA. Don't do this. Don't put this at Doc feet. This is on you. You wanted to come to the Clippers, remember? You didn't want to play with LeBron. You wanted to beat LeBron. How about beat the team? What happens if you're not playing LeBron? Skip, this is embarrassing. Hold on. What does IQ got to do with a team that you up by 12 in game 7? You're up by 19 in game 6. You're up by 16 in game 5. I want to know what the hell does IQ, because did you use your IQ to get the lead? And then all of a sudden you got dumb and couldn't keep it? No, Kawhi, you gagged this one, bro. Wear it. You know that little fake crime that you had to do to try to take your little shot at LeBron? Put that on top of your head. The foe king. He the foe king, Skip Bayless. It hurts you. No. You said the Clippers. And I don't care what everybody else said.
Okay, how many times are we going to say that?
You said it.
Yeah.
So don't be talking about it's easy.
So this is the first time in the history of the show that you've been able to gloat about anything, and it's getting a little bit old.
No, it's old now.
Yeah, it's
old now.
But
own
clearly,
it.
who is my favorite team in the NBA?
I don't know.
Who is it? I'm asking you.
Anybody that plays LeBron.
Who's my favorite team?
Anybody that plays LeBron?
It's obviously the San Antonio Spurs. Who did I tell you for 5 years was my favorite player in the league? Kawhi Leonard. What was happening in May of 2017? They were in the playoffs.
Right.
And he was playing at a supremely high level, and I'm a huge fan of his and theirs.
Yeah.
But once he quit on my team, once he clearly had a master plan to get out of San Antonio to Los Angeles, I was out on him for a long time. I couldn't even speak his name. And I told you, I have forgiven, but I haven't forgotten.
Why haven't you forgiven?
So the point is that obviously since Kevin Durant went to Golden State, then he clearly took over the whole league. I've never seen anything like it before.
Stop it, Skip.
And he took over LeBron in LeBron's house in 2 straight game 3s in which LeBron, as usual, predictably came up small at home.
Skip.
And Kevin won back-to-back finals MVPs by outplaying LeBron right in his grill in his house. Back-to-back game 3s.
Skip, how did he come up small? Do you realize in the first game, LeBron had 42, 14, and 9?
You realize what happened at the end of that first game?
You see what you didn't see?
Well, what happened?
But I thought it was stats.
What happened? What happened?
It was stats.
Kevin came right down the court and just pulled up right in his face and ripped a 3 that changed the whole game.
So if the man makes a great shot.
Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. I told you that Kevin Durant became the best player in basketball.
Okay.
Going into this year, Kevin was still the best player in basketball, and I said it 1,000 times on this show because Kawhi Leonard had fallen back a notch because I didn't think he played very well for Toronto. He hit the luckiest shot I've ever seen to win Game 7, and they survived on luck. And then they got a lot of breaks. What did you say? When they got to the finals, there's no Kevin Durant. Then he comes back for a moment, and he's gone. Then Clay is gone, and obviously they got huge breaks.
But nobody cared about that. They said he won. They didn't look at KD not being there. They didn't look at Clay getting hurt. They said Kawhi now is the best player.
Okay, now back to the issue at hand. Yes, I interpret these quotes from the leader of that team as shots at the coach and his staff, because Kawhi Leonard is saying, when this team, meaning Denver, is playing us a certain way, trying to get the ball out of my hands, which clearly they were, packing the paint, which clearly they did in the last 3 games, we've got to know what to do. Well, think about that staff. Is there a better coaching staff in basketball? Doc Rivers, he's my favorite coach. Ty Lue, one of my favorite coaches, is sitting right there at his left or right hand, whichever way they do it. And Sam Cassell, highly regarded around the NBA, and that Rex Kalamian, do you remember him from Oklahoma City? He was Kevin Durant's favorite coach in Oklahoma City from 09 through 15.
Okay.
It was his guy, and he's on this staff also. Well, that's a lot of brain trust, brain power,
exactly.
right? So wouldn't you think that as a group, starting with Doc, they could come up with some new plan to stop the bleeding? Because clearly the momentum had swung wildly to Denver. The pressure was mounting on the Clippers. There was no pressure on Denver. It was all on Kawhi and the Clippers.
And how did Kawhi do?
Well, he did really well until the last game because he led the team in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks for the 7 games. He led his team, so you can't fault that.
Yes, you can.
And again,
yes, you can.
The first closeout game, fourth quarter, which was game 5, he scored 13 in the fourth. Is that good? That seems pretty good to me.
So
is that choking?
So now it's about numbers. I thought it was about winning.
Okay, whatever. So then the second closeout game, 6, he scored 9 in the fourth quarter, which is pretty good.
Oh, pretty good.
And they had chances to win both those games because they were up going to the fourth quarter. So he was doing his part, but he got no help from anybody else. He did very well. He shot the ball well, shot the 3 well in both those fourth quarters. Then came the epic fail, the epic collapse of Game 7. Nobody played well in the whole second half. He was atrocious. Paul George was George Paul. Kawhi was 1 of 11. What was Paul George in the second half? 0 for 6 from 3.
He was, 4-16 for the game. So.
All right, so he was horrendously bad, epically bad. And yet I told you what happened in the biggest picture. I told you, I first guessed this. All year I told you Lou Williams is the closer. Obviously, Kawhi is the best player, but the closer, I've said it 1,000 times on this show. I don't love Kawhi closing games. I never loved it in San Antonio. He's not a big last shot maker-taker, but Lou Williams can be. So I said, he's got to be that guy when it's time to stop the bleeding. Somebody has to say no to the Denver Nuggets. Lou Williams, in the 7-game series against Denver, shot 4 of 27 from 3. But let that process for a second. 4 of 27? That's 16%. It's horrendous. It's hard. You can't overcome that when the guy who is your spark plug, your lightning rod scorer off the bench, prevailing 6th man of the year. I don't know how many times. Won it 3 times?
3 times.
So he didn't want to go to the bubble in the first place, had to be talked on the final day when you could commit to it.
Right.
Doc talked him off the fence into the bubble. He wasn't into it from the start. He wasn't in shape. He had his little soiree to Atlanta, went to a funeral, then went to Magic City, had to quarantine for another 10 days, and he never looked right. So when it was time for the closer, the 6th man of the year, to take over, he shot 4 of 27, and it got so bad in the last 3 fourth quarters, he wouldn't even shoot. He shot 7 times in